All right, welcome to the next video in finding your fairy tale market. You just finished with the little red hen test, and now we're moving on to the next test. But before we do, I want to answer a couple questions that I've got from the class. I've had a couple students share that they are struggling with their keyword market or their model, and wondering what they can do if they're not able to either pass the test or they're not liking what they're finding. Well, you can do one of two things. You can either start over and do a different keyword market or a different revenue model, or you can swap out a different revenue model. Either one is fine, but the key thing to really look at is ask yourself, are you focused more on the market or are you focused more on the model? So if you are absolutely driven by the market, so let's take our case study from the last test on modest dresses. Maybe you really want to do modest clothing and you're open to whether you're selling clothing or writing an ebook or doing courses. You're open to the model. Or on the opposite side, you can say, I am really driven by the revenue model because maybe I want to sell products. I'm going to jump on and I don't care what sort of products. I'll go find the products that fit, but I really want to do e-commerce. I just don't know what market I'm ready to go into. So you got to ask yourself that question. Are you focused on the market? Are you focused on the revenue model? And then we have some students in the class that are rigid in both. If you're running up against a wall and you're saying, these are the things that I really want to focus on, my suggestion to you is to continue on. Recognize that you're going to have some hurdles in some of the tests that you failed, but that's okay. The point of these tests are just to help you identify what is going to be difficult as you begin your business. So that's the first question. The second question that I've received is around service-based companies. For those of you who are doing service-based companies, the last two tests were a bit of a struggle because they definitely were more product driven, because products are easy to scale and can get into the market a lot easier than a service based. Does that mean you don't do a service based? No, that's not the case, but it is built for products. I did fail to add in Yelp instead of Amazon when looking at how many competitors for the Three Little Pigs test. That would have helped those that are doing service based. So for the most part, both tests still apply. You still want to look at how many customers how many competitors are in your market, and you also want to see where the gaps are. And really on the last test, you have segmentation, which you want to focus on who are your customers that you can segment towards. You have email marketing, and you have the purchasing gap. And that's an interesting one when most services build their website to be more informational than transactional, where they're not really taking orders online. They're just providing information there for people to gain and then come into their store. But there's still great opportunities to upsell, cross-sell, and bundle off of the website. I wouldn't leave money on the table, and so that's something to explore. If you are service-based and you're location-based, I would jump into other locations that you're not necessarily competing with. So if you're doing a service here in Hawaii, and you can jump over to California or Florida, who have same temperaments as us, and see what people are doing there and what they're offering on their websites, just so that you can see if this was something that you could offer off of your website and make more money, have more additional revenue streams. So that's what the last test was really looking at. Where are the gaps and how can you be competitive? And that applies for both service and products. All right, we've done 6 tests and we have 2 tests left. But before we jump into the Pied Piper test, let's look at just kind of what we've done so far. So we've done testing the market with Goldilocks, Cinderella, and Stone Soup test. And these are the questions that each of those tests we're looking at. And we just finished testing the revenue model. And with each of those tests, they also had questions that you were specifically focusing on. So for the P Princess test, we're looking at how easy is your revenue model? Where are the strengths? Where are the weaknesses? For the Three Little Pigs test, we want to know how competitive is it? Do we have House of Straw, House of Sticks, House of Bricks? And then finally, the Little Red Hen test, we are looking at the gaps that can be exploited. We're looking at what we're willing to do versus what our competitors are not doing. And if they're not doing 2 out of the 3 gaps that are identified, then that is a perfect market and model to move into. Now we are focusing on the mob. The mob really is the audience. Is there an audience for us to market to, and how engaged is that audience? So let's start with the Pied Piper test. This is, for those of you that are not familiar with this fairy tale, this is an old German fairy tale that comes from the 1300s. And let's play this video here. Okay, well, that's a bit different of a fairy tale and also kind of a different video than we've watched in the past, but it gets across the story of the man who basically leads away the masses of children. And that's what we're focusing on with this test. We're looking to find the right masses and lead them away to our own market and model. For us to do this, we are going to follow the same process that we followed with all the other tests. First, we're going to brainstorm, then we're going to do the actual test, and then we're going to pick if we pass that test, or we're going to pivot. Or a third option is, even if we don't pass that test, we're going to make a note that this is just one additional area that's going to be more difficult. And I would say that if not passing the Pied Piper test, it's going to be very difficult. But again, that's what this test is for, is to help you assess that. Let's start off with the brainstorming. To do that, what you need to look at is, where is the mob that you want to entice away to your market and model. So for the brainstorm, what you need to do, and this will be part of the homework, is you're going to go into Google, you're going to take your keyword market, and you're going to search your keyword market with the following words. So if we're going back to our case study of modest dresses, we would put in modest dresses forum, modest dresses group, modest dresses community, and association, modest dress association. So we can see here, that's what we're going to search. And as we go and search in Google, we're going to see just how many people are in that group. So let's go to Google and let's try out modest dresses. So modest dresses forum. So we see the very first one that we have here is a Christian teen forums. When we click on that, we see that it actually takes us not to just a modest clothing. This isn't an entire forum about modest clothing, but the nice thing is this is definitely a group that has a large segmentation interested in modest clothing. So if we click on home here, and this is what you're going to find with most forums, is you go to the home, and if it's a very targeted forum, so let's say instead of this being a Christian teen forum, let's say this was just a teen forum and someone's asking a question about modest clothing. That actually would not be a forum that you could do this with because it's not an entire group. So, but since this is a Christian teen forum, we can look here, and if we scroll down, most forums have on the right hand, yep, there we go. On the right hand side, we see that this forum has 37,345 members. So you would put christianteenforums.com into your homework, and then you would put this number there. And then you would continue to work down each of these. You would do, again, the top 10 and see what you're going to find. So you have Catholics.com here, again, another Christian forum. This is the same site, so you would count that as one, not two. So you would go through, and we can see already that there's a strong religious group that is interested in modest clothing. So once you've gone through each of these right here in Google and searched out the top 10 and the ones where you found that they were forums, so you may not get to 10. For instance, on our modest dresses forum, we saw that there was 2 results. Then that's fine, you have 8. You're going to put only the ones that directly apply to who you're targeting. And then once you have done that, you're going to record it. Like I said in the example, you're going to put in the URL and you're going to put in how many people. And this is going to give you a really good understanding of where your mob is. Where are they hanging out? What are they talking about? How are they engaging? So that's the brainstorm to kind of give you a good feel. Now let's do the actual test. And the Pied Piper test is really looking at, is your mob big enough? You need a certain size to pull away from everyone else in order to make it worth your time. So to evaluate that, we have the Pied Piper test. And with the Pied Piper test, we're really looking at all the audiences we can. You've already really done the first part with Google. Now you're going to go look at Facebook pages and groups, LinkedIn groups, and Reddit subreddits to see, is there an audience out there beyond what you just found in Google in order to build your business off of. You're going to look in each of these categories. You've done it with Google, but with Facebook, LinkedIn, and Reddit, you're going to look at the top 10 groups, pages, pull up, and you're going to do just like you did in the brainstorming of where you are providing the URL and the amount. Then once you've done that, you're going to calculate exactly how many people are in all of that combined. And if you have over 100,000 in your group, then it is big enough to be the Pied Piper and to go after it aggressively. If it's under that, you're gonna struggle. There's just no way around that. Now you may say, yeah, but I passed the Goldilocks test and it told me that the market is big enough. And really the Goldilocks test looks at search demand, whereas the Pied Piper test is looking at where do people congregate? Where can I market and where can I get this mob? So to get started, there's a tool that will definitely help you with Reddit. Reddit, if you go to Snoop's New, I think is what it is. If you go there, it'll help you search the subreddits instead of using Reddit's own search, which is difficult. So this is Snoop's New. And as you are wanting to search the subreddits, you would actually go right down here. You don't necessarily need to put in your username. So let's type in modest dresses. So you can see I've already searched a lot of them as I've used this tool. And as I do, I found that the subreddit is in Reddit is actually modest dress, which would fit for our mob that we're looking at. Now, one word of caution right here, it says there's 310 subscribers, and you might be tempted to put that down in the homework. But, and here again, it gives you a different number, and again, that's incorrect. But if we click on here, this takes us to Reddit, and we can see right here that there's actually 774. So that's one tool to help you out. Facebook, its search is fine. LinkedIn, again, you're fine. And even if you might ask why LinkedIn, you'd be surprised how many groups on LinkedIn are around every aspect you can think of, even the clothing and modest clothing industry. But there is one rule as you do this. And let's jump over to Facebook. The rule is that you have to look at groups and pages that are not owned by businesses. So if we type in modest dresses, we might think that we hit the jackpot here with 258,000 people that like this page. But as we look at the About page, we find that this is a company, Nieces Dresses. This is not a place that they're going to let you promote or talk or engage and try to pull people away. So this wouldn't work. However, a quick tip when you're doing this is what you find over here. So we're going to look in two places. We're going to look at pages and we're going to look at groups. When we click on pages, we're going to want to just look at cause or community. The rest will be like obviously local business, company, brand, product. All of these are going to be ones that won't work. Entertainment maybe, depending on what you're doing, but definitely cause or community. And now we're going to see much more real numbers here. So 668, 416, 808, 1615, 209. So this one right here, this is a really good one. And this is kind of frustrating with Facebook that they won't let you filter it according to the most in a group. But, you know, go through, look for the ones that have a lot. So we can see that obviously Islamic, which we saw in the Google, we recognize that religious individuals, LDS, you know, that might be a little too small for you to consider. But these are ones that you're going to look at and go for the biggest ones and then record them. And again, you're going to record up here the URL so that you can get back to it, because that's going to be part of the next test that we do here. So that's the Pied Piper test. Go through Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Reddit. Select the top 10 and analyze how big they are. Add them all up, and if you have over 100,000 collectively with those four groups, then you've passed the Pied Piper. If you don't have over 100,000 people, and these obviously are the people where they congregate, so you're looking at who is liking these pages, who's liking these groups. Right there, that's a very good one. These are people that are interested in the modest industry. Add those up and see what you find out with the Pied Piper test. All right, good luck.